These answer choices are a gift because there's two things you could notice here, and either way, you're going to get your brain thinking along the same track. So there are differences, obviously. The differences are kind of not that different. So were versus was, it's versus there. Either way, we're thinking in terms of singular versus plural. And depending on how well you know these rules, it might be easier to think about the pronouns. It might be easier to think about the verbs. I'm going to do the verbs because I think that rule is a little bit harder. So let's take a look. How does that work? Well, were is plural. Was is singular. So let's just fill all those out. And so we're going to need to make a choice based on the verb whether or not it matches with the subject of the sentence. So what are we talking about? We can ask a question. What was unique for its high standards of service and quality? According to the sentence, the answer is the Harvey houses, plural. And so we would want to use a plural subject or verb to match with that plural subject. So that means that C and A aren't going to work because of the word was, which is singular. And we can kind of smush this sentence together a bit using the structure of the sentence to better understand why it needs to be was. This piece in the middle, which constituted the first restaurant chain in the United States, those two commas there tell me that it's extra. It's an interruption in the sentence. The main sentence is these Harvey houses were unique for, well, we're still talking about the Harvey houses here, so that should be plural, or this is singular, but we want it to be plural. And so that means choice B is going to be the answer. But there you go. These Harvey houses were unique for their high standards of service and quality. The whole time we're talking about the same thing. The verb and the pronoun are both kind of related to the same part of the sentence. And it does have to do with the way the sentence is constructed. That's the subject. That's the main piece. And so it's doing a lot of work for us. So hopefully you got choice B. Hopefully you thought about those rules. I do think we can maybe get this right just by listening to the sentence, but it's always best to remove those extra pieces if we're trying to listen for subject-verb agreement. And so that requires, knowledge of the grammar rule. So ultimately, the more you memorize the rules, the more confident you'll be on stuff like this, and you won't have to rely on the sound. You'll have actual proof of why you're right.